The 2011 baseball season is just weeks away, but there was some unfinished business for 2010. For the first time since their World Championship parade, the Giants were together again in one place, the Robertson Auditorium on the Mission Bay campus of UCSF. It's inside the clubhouse, the town hall meeting. Here's Dwayne Kuiper.
You know, Mike talks about it all the time, we have so many great living monuments, and Mays and McCovey and Marichal in that group, and all of those guys will be remembered forever individually. This club will be remembered forever as a team, and that's what was fun about it.
A couple weeks ago, Dwayne and I were talking about tonight, and he said, you know, I mean, think back last year, the whirlwind of September and the whirlwind of October, and then into the parade in November. And when the parade was over, the team gathered back on the field. They took one picture, and then they were gone. They disappeared. A big league team can vaporize out of a clubhouse away from a ballpark at the end of a year faster than any group of human beings on the planet. They can get to that offseason in a hurry. But they never really had the ability to do what they're going to do tonight, and that's regroup and tell the stories. Because the next time these guys get together, it's going to be all business in spring training. But tonight's for fun. Tonight we're going to reflect on 2010. We're going to talk about 2011. And for this group that endeared themselves to all of us, the Giant Nation, the fans that watched them put this city on the map as world champions, tonight will be fun. Jeremy, we were going to go back with all the things that happened last year. One of the highlights, as Dave alluded to earlier, was in Game 5 in Philadelphia when your team trailed. And all of a sudden they get back into the ball game, and all of a sudden now it's third inning, and everything starts to break loose. And there's a fight on the field, or what could have been a fight. And you're out there in the bullpen with the assignment that, you know, you're going to be in the ball game. And, you know, your job as a player when there's a fight on the field is you got to get there. And you started out, as you always do, dutifully, as you're supposed to. And a big paw came up on your back, and it was Mark Garter saying, you stay here and get ready. What went on in your mind when he said get ready, and you were the only guy in the field throwing when the rest of your team was there? What was going on in your mind before coming into the game, Game 5?
Yeah, honestly, I was trying not to cry because the Phillies fans were hurting my feelings. I mean, the things that were coming out of their mouth, it's just, there's no way that that's actually legally possibly to say to a human being for not going out and helping your team, you know? And so besides that, you know, I think the biggest thing for me was, you know, when Bochy was heading out there, I think he was heading out there possibly to pull Sanchez anyway, and I only had like 6 pitches in, which is fine. I only need 6. But you know, Gardy said, hey, you can't run out there. You got to keep warming up. This is a big situation here. We're going to need you feeling your best. And so I was able to get 20, 25 more throws in. I felt good rhythm running out there. The funniest thing was seeing Lopez. He was walking back, and I look at him. He looks at me and he goes, good luck. You know, we didn't know what to say in center field. I'm not used to like going out there with my whole team out in center field. But, you know, it was awesome, and thank God, you know, I got the job done. I'm not going to say I could tell you that I knew for sure that was going to happen, but, you know, I threw the invisible to Howard, and that was about it. You know?
Very nice.
Fantastic. Darren Ford, last year you started out the season, you weren't even on the 40-man roster, you were in AA baseball. And now you come to a team that's in the middle of a hunt, and you know that you have something that you can help this team with. And you were just waiting for your opportunity. Tell us about the opportunity when it finally came.
For one, the lights were bright as these ones right here on the stage right now, for sure. I was definitely, I was nervous, you know. I just told myself to stay focused, and you know, there was a lot going on at the time. You know, just they told me it was my chance to go, and once I hit the top step, I was like, all right, I took a deep breath, and I just ran out there, just trying not to trip or anything, do something stupid. But I made it out there safe, and Timmy got the bunt over, and I went to second, and I just told myself to be aggressive, and ball in the dirt. I think it was 0-2 count, maybe, ball in the dirt, and I probably would never run again on that ball. I watched it again. I said, wow, that ball didn't get too far, and I was like, I probably would never do it again. But it was a great experience, I'm glad to help the team, and I was honored to play with a group of guys like this.
Now, you and Emmanuel Burris were ineligible for postseason. But you two guys celebrated harder than anybody I've ever seen.
Yes.
I mean, come on, right?
I actually...
Seriously.
I actually told Manny B I was going to be the #1 fan, so me and him we were fighting for it. It was going to be the #1 fan.
How is it that, I mean, you're faster than Pat Burrell, right?
I think so.
Yeah. How is it that Burrell beat you to the pitcher's mound in Texas?
He grabbed, you got to let the vets go first.
All right. So. So you were holding back. You were holding back.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Anda, what have you been doing in the off season? Oh.
Working out.
You've been working out and taking pictures. I keep seeing pictures of you, man. You're looking good.
Thanks.
I gotta tell you. Huh? You might actually be wearing that Aubrey Huff thing sometime during the season.
I don't think so.
No, you don't think
No.
so? No? So you stayed in Arizona, and you're basically worked out, not just working out, you've been hitting and doing all the other things to get ready?
No, I take it 2 months. We don't take a bat.
Nothing.
Relax my mind. Don't swing a bat. Concentrate and lose weight. I'm working hard, getting ready for the next year. Try to do my things. The other things happened last year. But I'm here to working hard.
Right. So the 2 months are over where you didn't pick up a bat. You can pick up a bat now.
Yeah, like past 3 weeks.
Okay, good. And everything's going fine?
Everything's going well.
Good. You look good, by the way.
Thanks.
Andres Torres, where do we start?
Hey, Mike. Has Andres Torres said hello to everybody here? If he hasn't, he will before the night's over. Maybe twice.
Andres Torres, they talk about Major League Baseball, the season being a marathon. And you have to have energy throughout that 6-month season, hopefully a 7th-month season. And if you throw in spring training, it's an 8.5-month season. Where do you get this energy?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I just, we just play with heart. And we are a team that never give up. We play together, and that's how we do it. It's about me, it's about a group. And I want to take this moment to thank you fans for give us all the support, all the love, me and my team and the Giants. We really appreciate this because you guys are very special from my heart, from our heart.
You waited a long time. You waited a long time, and you paid a lot of hard dues in your career. And at age 32, you got to climb the mountain and plant a flag. What did this season mean to you professionally?
That's a pretty good answer.
Best answer I've ever heard.
How great has this been? I mean, seriously. I wish I was 25 years old and single and walking a bar with that thing right there. That's what I wish.
And Tim Lincecum said it right. He picked it up for the first time. He said, "It's heavy."
It is heavy. But anyway, all right, let's get started with our new group.
The group from the South.
You know, I want to ask Buster Posey. He came onto the scene. He didn't look like a whole lot of things bothered him, and it also didn't look like a whole lot of things may have impressed him that much. Not by how he made the game look, but just by his demeanor. A little bit like the Jeff Kent demeanor. And I'm wondering, and I truly mean that in a great way. And I'm wondering what impressed you last year. Not necessarily about what you did, but maybe an individual or maybe a game or maybe something that the team did. What impressed you last year?
I mean, I might not show it, but a lot. I mean, it is. I mean, you got guys. A perfect example is, you know, Torres up here, the emotion that he just showed, and we had a group of guys like that last year, I think. I mean, when I came out of college and first started playing in the minors, I kind of missed that team feeling, the team camaraderie, guys pulling for each other. Because in the minor leagues, let's face it, everybody's trying to get to the big leagues. So you kind of lose that aspect of the game. But was just so pleased and happy to be a part of a group that legitimately cared for one another and wanted to win so bad. And
it's not always like that, as everybody knows, especially the guys in uniform, in a Major League clubhouse. Did it take you very long to feel like you belonged as far as being part of the group?
I mean, you know what? Not really. I mean, I think that again, it just goes. You got to give a lot of credit to the veterans in the clubhouse and the guys that have, you know, the Canes and Lincecums and I mean everybody really. But it was just, again, it was about winning. That's what it was about. And of course, you're going to take a little bit of a rookie ribbing. Hey, Burl. But no, it's great group of guys.
Do you take more pride in what you did offensively with the bat or what you did in handling this pitching staff?
You know, I mean, for the catcher, it's got to be defense. I think Eli would second that. And we're so fortunate to work with such a dominant pitching staff. I mean, the starters, unbelievable. Yeah. But not only that, I think the depth of the bullpen probably wasn't talked about as much as it should. I mean, these guys came in and were lights out.
Was there one guy, now it happens during the course of a ball game where Bruce Bochy or any other skipper will signal the catcher, go out and talk to your pitcher. Things might not be going too good. They got to get somebody heated up in the bullpen. Was there one guy in the staff that you did not like to go out and talk to?
Didn't really care to talk to Wilson a whole lot. But you know, after a few times behind the plate, I kind of could pick up on his looks, just kind of like, nah, I'll stay back here. I'll stay back here for a minute.
You celebrate, you get to drink champagne, and this kid had just barely turned 21 in order to do that. And we're talking about Madison Bumgarner. How about that? I walked in the clubhouse, through the clubhouse, before Game 4. And, you know, you just, whatever. I was just walking through to go out on the field, and I walked by you, and you looked like you weren't too bothered by the whole deal. Now, you may have been nervous. You may not have been. You didn't look like you were. How were you feeling before that game?
Maybe I'd make a pretty good actor, I guess.
You did.
I was trying to cover it up as much as I could, but, you know, pitching in the World Series, so it's pretty hard to do. But just went out there and done whatever he said.
So, yeah. So, if that's the case, Did he tell you to walk the first guy?
On 4 pitches?
Yeah.
I don't think that was part of the plan, but it worked out, I guess.
Well, I want to know which start you were more nervous for, the one in the World Series or the start against the Braves in Atlanta, the team you rooted for as a kid. I mean, you go into Atlanta for the first time to pitch against the Braves, your team, and it's in a playoff game. Which game were you more nervous, that game or the World Series game?
I don't know. They're both pretty special in their own way, I guess. Getting to go to Atlanta and pitching, Turner Field or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. It's pretty cool getting to do that, but pitching the World Series, I think it's, stands alone. So.
All right, Mike, you get the first question to this broad-shouldered kid here.
Broad shoulder. He's no longer a kid. The team player rep. Is it more special for you now to having traveled the road that you played? I mean, because you were here in the transition years. Bonds walks out the door, he's gone. Now all of a sudden, you're the new kid on the block, and you go through a couple of tough years. It was hard to get a win, really hard to get a win. And all of a sudden, you find yourself in a team that wins 88 games in 2009, and all of a sudden last year, you're going to go to the playoffs. So what was in your mind at that time, and what were you thinking about as you were starting to gather momentum as a team last year in September?
I mean, it was fun. It was fun because everybody played relaxed. I think that was the best part, is that nobody really put a bunch of pressure on each other or themselves. I think that everybody played so relaxed, and we had, the staff, the coaching staff did a great job of just really letting us go out there and play, and have a lot of fun. And I think that carried over into what we ended up succeeding in doing.
No earned runs in postseason. However, we did have a ball that hit right off the top of the fence, right? Yeah.
It's close.
It was close.
I don't know how they didn't catch it.
I thought it was gone.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I know you did.
The nature of your job, right, is I'm sure you celebrated the World Series and enjoyed it for a little while, but you guys had to get down to work and getting ready for this upcoming season.
Well, each year morphs into the next, and what's funny about the front office rigmarole or our schedule is that we don't get the dedicated time off to kind of decompress. So revisiting the aftermath of this, starting with the parade and working backwards, you have to take time because you have to pay respect to it. But you're so busy getting prepared for the next year that in some ways maybe you're better off not thinking too much about the previous season because you're so focused on the next season.
And are you feeling real comfortable about where this team sits going into this year?
I was asked that today in the press conference, and for some reason I have more anxiety because this is such a special group. In your mind, you wonder if you've made enough meaningful change. On the other hand, do you want to change all that much? I know that we're in a position to do some special things still with this ball club, and in some ways I think we'd all admit that this kind of happened sooner than we thought, so we're ahead of schedule.
All right, Brian, congratulations again. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Giants General Manager Brian Sabean.
Baseball, you can be around this game for a long time. You can have a great career, but until you win a championship, you don't really validate your career. And these gentlemen here have a ring that they can hang on their finger. And if you knew what goes on behind the scenes and how intricately they are interwoven with their players throughout this clubhouse and the impact that they have, you can't understate or overstate their efforts. It's amazing. One more round of applause for these guys, please. And we're going to start it off with the pitching coach, Dave Righetti, and Rags. A lot of pressure on you coming into last season because you just won 88 games the previous year, and the entire baseball world said that this is a team that was going to go as far as their pitching would take them, and you took them pretty far.
I didn't do anything. They did. But pitching, you got to pitch every year. So the pressure's always on a pitcher. Pitcher has to take the ball and walk out on a mound in front of 50,000 people every night and hold that baseball and decide how he's going to handle that night and that day, and whether he's going to man up or somebody else is going to do it behind him. But this group, and we've had a lot of great groups in this, in my time here. This group manned up better than most. But quite honestly, they always know they have to pitch good. These guys don't shy away from it.
Who is the most interesting guy in your staff to coach?
Willie. Well, let me tell you something. When Willie first came here, he never said a word. He didn't say 2 words to either one of us. Well, what's up with this guy? I mean, we're looking for this guy to be our closer, right? We got to be communicating. Not a word. Just. And as the years went on, he's just coming out. He's coming out. And oh my God, he's out. He's out of the bag, boys and girls. But he's a very smart guy. He listens. He wants to get better, and he's in a tough position. I mean, we all count on him to finish a game, and he carries us on his shoulders. And thank you.
Rags, your most interesting guy to coach on this staff.
You know what? I know you want me to pick them. I mean, Affelt every day is drama, but which is fine. I got kids. They're 19. He knows it. He knows I love him.
This gentleman wrote out 126 different lineups last year. He let me write out the lineup on my birthday, June 19th. Remember that?
Oh, I do. I
Yeah.
do.
And then he changed it. We saw you in your office after Game 5 of the World Series. You looked tired. You looked like you needed a nap.
I was tired.
Did you nap after the season?
Yeah, I took a good long nap. I slipped in a coma for about a week, I'll be honest. I think we all did. I mean, you're grinding so hard, and when it's all over, and when you get back home, it hits you, and you know, all the emotions that have gone through your mind, it hits you pretty hard. And I've said this story quite a few times now. You might be getting tired of it, but for 2 weeks after the season, I kept waking up thinking of a lineup I had to write down. And I swear to you, I did. And then it hit me, it's over. This thing's over. So it was nice when you finally realize it is over and we could take it in a little bit. And we're still absorbing this, and we know we have to move forward. But I will say, when we get those rings on opening day, as beautiful as that trophy is, that's going to be a real special day, not just for us, but for all of you.
And we're going to start off from the littlest giant. Mike Fontenot came over to this club, and he brought a very much needed shot in the arm to this club. He solidified a couple of 3 positions in that infield and had a big part in a lot of wins, and more importantly, was a huge factor in the clubhouse. Veterans do that. Mike, tell us about what went through your mind when they told you were traded to the Giants.
Well, I wasn't expecting it, you know. I'm just taking some batting practice one day, walking up the steps. You know, I get called in the office, and they're like, we just traded you. You don't have to go far, though. Just walk across the field.
Did he just say that? Did you get a game-winning hit against the Giants the night before? Sorry, Sanchez brought that up. I did not bring that up.
Actually, right when I walked into the clubhouse, I got punched right in the ribs by Moda. And I was like, he hung the changeup. It wasn't my fault.
You know, so Freddie Sanchez, how good was it, the whole run?
It was great. I mean, that's obviously everything I've played my whole career for. That's what all these guys play for, is just to get that ring and to win a world championship. And I think it's even more special to be able to bring a world championship to a city for the first time.
Right.
So I think that capped everything off.
And we should ask, you had some surgery, you're going to be ready.
Going to be ready, for sure,
Good.
100%.
That's what we're talking about. I listened to the ovation Cody Ross received when he came in. And I'm just wondering if Cody thought, like I thought. There was a game against the Colorado Rockies where Carlos Gonzalez broken bat triple. Cody may have broken in, whatever. Where were you guys then? Were you thinking that at all, huh?
It's a really, really good question.
Yeah, you were thinking that a little bit, right?
I really was.
But I went back to what I said earlier about tough loss, next day, team comes back and bounces back with a win. And that's what this club did.
It did. I mean, I couldn't be more proud of these guys and be a part of this team. I've been on a few different in a few different organizations, and I've never been on one team where, there's not one selfish player. I'm not going to say any names on these teams that I've been on in the past, but I mean, everybody on this team cared about the team and not themselves, and we all came together, and we did it, and that's the main reason, I think.
One thing that really is upsetting me about baseball, there's 3 tiers in the playoffs. There's the NLDS, the NLCS, and there's the World Series. Now, we had the MVP with Edgar Renteria in the World Series. Cody was the NLCS MVP. But he should have been in the NLDS MVP as well. And that ticks me off. Does it make you mad at all?
No, I don't care about that kind of stuff. As long as we got past, that was such a tough series, the Atlanta series. Once we got past that, it was just a huge weight off of our shoulders, and we knew we had a tough task at hand with the Phillies, but we were ready for them.
Did you send any Christmas cards to Roy Halladay this year?
No, it's funny you say that, because he actually, I'm sure you guys are well aware that he threw the perfect game against us. And I've tried everything against that guy. I'm talking trying to, hit the ball the other way, trying to take pitches and walk and, work the count. And none of that stuff has ever worked for me. My career numbers against him weren't very good. But I never took the approach of to go up there and just try to hit a home run. And it worked for some reason.
So, Pat, I want to ask you, what is the one thing in your career that you're most proud of? You've done a number of things that a professional baseball player would be most envious of. Is it your contribution to that clubhouse, making this team have the mindset that they had to enable them to win this world championship?
I can't take all credit for that. I mean, I came over here and, it was an incredible group of guys. The coaching staff, top to bottom, the pitching staff, you can't even talk about our team without giving our pitchers, our starting pitch and the bullpen the credit they deserve. So, anyhow, I got over here and, it wasn't really planned, spot start here and there, and, all of a sudden we just got rolling. And, it was a great ride, and, for me to be, let go by a team and not have a job, and, for Sabes to, give me the opportunity to come here and be a chance to be a part of this group, it's just a great experience.
Plus, I really believe that the clubhouse got so much better when Pat showed up, because now Huff had somebody to play off of, and you could play off of him.
You knew I wouldn't be offended by the thong.
No, that's right, and you ragging on each other and everything else. So I just thought it was a great combination.
So who came up with a thong? Was that your idea?
No. I saw him wearing it, and I was disgusted. Is that powder white skin? It's not good. But he nailed it. He owned it. He acted like he looked great. He believed it, so I guess we all did.
Can you believe the mileage out of this thing?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I heard he did a photo shoot.
Oh, no.
I held the thing, too, during the parade. Got weird.
So anyway, Runs, you going to wear one? No?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
You're good? All right. So you're in the bullpen, and you got to watch this bunch. What'd you think?
I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, you got so many personalities, but it's so much more than that. The talent down there is just, I mean, it's darn near impossible to get into a game with arms like that coming in before you. So those guys are just, I learned so much from them, and I continue to learn all the time, and just happy to be a part of it, and hope to contribute.
If name one guy if he's really mad who you're afraid of.
Really mad?
Really mad. In the bullpen. If they're really ticked off, who would you not mess with?
And I got to stay off Wilson because everyone's been on him, but I'll go with Javi. Javi's pretty tough.
Sneak attack, Javi?
He's
Don't mess with him?
Don't mess with him.
You got to play against this bunch of guys, and then you got to play with this bunch of guys. How are they different as an opponent compared to being a teammate?
Yeah, I got to thank Runsler and Affelt for being hurt, or else I wouldn't be here. So I got to thank them for that. And, I tell you what, these guys, we said it all night. It's the pitching that dictates everything. And, again, Pittsburgh, it was quite an experience. And so now being over here and seeing these guys really do what they do and being able to be a part of it and really having nobody to carry us the whole way. It's always been one guy every night coming through, a different guy. And those are some of the special things that really made us a team.
Good. Well, Willie, would you like me to ask you a question, or would you like to interview yourself, or what would you like to do here?
I don't know how everyone's containing their laughter. I mean, I've had an off season, it's been great, but coming back here, I can't look at one player and not just bust out laughing. I mean, I have the giggles tonight. I can't. If you guys just knew half the stuff that went on in our clubhouse. Wow.
So most of the things are not things that you could actually, like if I said to you, Andres Torres, you could tell us a story about Andres Torres.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just look at him and I smile.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not smile? The guy, look at the guy. He's so good. Do we have a question? Or?
Yeah, we do. We do. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, we got to see a lot of, you caused quite a stir around here. The beard was very popular. And the rest of the league feared it. They continue to fear it. But there was one moment last year when we were into the stands in various parts of the evening, Jim Lynch, our director, would show people who had worn their interpretation of the beard, and there was a baby.
Yeah.
That was 6 months old. And the mother was holding her. It was a girl. And they had put the pacifier on the outside that held the beard in place, and it was a perfect beard. Now, when you saw things like this on a nightly basis, what did you think?
I've seen a lot of stuff. I mean, they even had a dog with a beard and a mohawk. It's just the kind of passion that San Francisco has as fans. And these things that we did that took on the life of their own, they weren't planned. We didn't have a team of people thinking, let's grow our hair out, or let's get rally thongs, or let's have weird people dress up. The fans embraced it. What are we talking about here? I think we started, we weren't going to shave. I mean, that's not fun. And people started wearing beards. They got Tim Lincecum's hair. They got the Pandaval hat. You know, there was all sorts of characters that they took a role on. It was like Halloween in San Francisco every night.
The final out, was it as great as you expected it to be?
Stress levels. Wow. We have to do it again just so I can understand what I'm supposed to feel when it happens.
There you go.
That was completely blacked out. I didn't know what to do. I threw a cutter. It was a 3-2 count. That's odd. Well, the weirdest thing about the inning, it was 1-2-3. That never happens, right? So I throw the last pitch, and the thoughts that were going through my head were, you know, God, who's going to tackle me? Because it wasn't, I'm not going to give up a home run. I mean, come on, that's not what's going through my head. I strike him out, you know, do my pose, honor God, honor my dad, look around, and it's mayhem. Pat's just, you know, running out, tackling me. I look, you know, after we huddled around, we didn't even dogpile. We didn't know what to do. It's like, what do we do? Let's just jump around. I look at Ford, I'm like, bro, you're bleeding. What's going on? Burris looks at me and says, you punched him in the face. A little amped up, I guess. Sorry.
Did you ever feel the weight of the Giants nation on your shoulders when you're standing out there?
Serious?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yes.
How heavy was it?
Wow, I mean, I'm getting nervous just thinking about it. Every time we were up, it was a must-win situation the entire year. We get into the playoffs, and you know, the funniest part about the whole thing is that 0-2 count that Sanchez had. There was a kid in left field by our bullpen, Atlanta Braves fan, looking directly at me, doing this. You're gonna lose. And the bullpen knows what I'm talking about. You remember that little kid? Just wanted it. Anyways, he works the count, gets a hit. The kid's still looking at me. Guardy tells me to get loose. You're gonna throw. I'm like, man, are we gonna lose? What's happening? This kid's looking at me. He's making fun of me. I'm getting pissed. And then we score the run, and I walk by him. It's not going through my head. The only thing I'm thinking of is he better not blow this. Oddly enough, first and second, 1 out. The Major League best average is up. Strike him out. And the last thought that went through my head when, you know, Uribe threw the ball over to Ishikawa and he caught it it wasn't like, oh man, we just won the game. It was, how do you like me now, kid? You like that?
Okay, we'll get our next group up there while we ask Brian another question here. We had a fan question for you. I have to ask a preliminary one first, though. Years past, you've traveled in the offseason. Did you do some stuff? This is just like a pre-question.
Yeah, I did a little.
Okay, so the question was, where's the strangest place that you've been recognized or someone's wanted to come up and talk to you about the Giants? I'm half afraid to ask the question, but...
I'll do my second strangest because
number one?
It's not PG rated.
Just a little glimpse.
I was at a Thai noodle shop in obviously Thailand, and this guy came up to me, didn't speak a lick of English, and he looked at me, and I'm just chomping away at some pad Thai, which is actually pretty good stuff if you haven't had any. It's pretty good stuff, little pineapples and whatever. Taps me on the shoulder, and he just starts repeating, Giants, Giants, and it was getting awkward because it went on for more than a minute, and it's a lot of Giants. I tried doing my best to say thank you and patted him on the shoulder, went my way, but that's probably the weirdest place. I mean, I'm Thailand, they're watching the Giants. Yes, they are.
Yeah. That's a good one. And by the way, just for future reference, you can get pad thai in San Francisco. I got a few places. You don't have to go all the way there to get it. So if you want to talk to me afterwards.
Yeah, that's information I could have used before the 22-hour flight.
Thank you. All right, Willie.
Sergio, you came into this organization, you came up through this organization. And I remember when you first made your first big league team, you said that day, I'm going to be on a team that wins a world championship in San Francisco. And you didn't know at that time that it had never been done. You pulled it off.
Well, I definitely feel that I earned, the right to be a part of the big league fraternity, but still don't know how I weaseled my way on this team. Really, holy cow, thank you guys. Changed my life forever, trust me. Wow, just proud to put on jersey, no lie. Seriously, thank you for this all. Thank you. It's the chair.
Yeah, that's the crying chair. Yep, that's it.
It's got to be the chair. Holy cow.
So the question that I kept getting asked all year long was, who's going to shave his beard first, you or Willie?
Not it.
Now, I want to remind you guys, it happened with Raleigh Fingers. He grew a mustache, and he's still wearing it. And that was 45 years ago.
I'd be pretty old then. My beard would be really long by then. No, seriously, it was just one of those things where, we didn't really plan it. It just happened, and I've always heard of championship teams, rallying around something. So it's it was the thongs, the Timmy hairs, the pantyhose, just like Weeza said earlier. It's all those things that came into play that's what made it special. So, froze. Legit.
It works.
Definitely.
Before we get to Timmy, I want to ask Emmanuel Burris. I mentioned you and your running partner, Mr. Ford, during postseason. And I made it sound like that you were only there to have fun, but that really wasn't the case. You guys got to sit back and watch this team. And I'm wondering what you take from that and how that can help you as you try to be a part of this organization and a team for a long time.
Well, I honestly think that's a very simple answer. With the group of guys that we had here in San Francisco and the leadership that they brought to the team and the way they went about their business, there was not a second that went by that myself nor the younger guys or anybody let that go unthought about. And everybody here, everybody on our team, whether it was the coaches, whether it was myself, people that were on the roster, off the roster, we all knew how much everybody was putting into this. And for me, that is something that I can take into the rest of my career. There are only a couple people that can honestly say they're, not a couple, but there's only a few group of people that can honestly say they won a World Series championship ring. And I'll take that, no matter how it comes. You're on the roster, off the roster, I will take that. And I'm super proud to be a part of everybody here. I thought about them all off season, dreamed about it. It's incredible.
Can you beat him in a race? You beat Ford in a race?
Yes.
You can?
Yes, for sure.
Can you beat Torres in a race?
No.
No?
Nobody can beat Torres in a race, ever. Way too much energy.
Mikey, you get Timmy.
Okay, well, last year, I asked him a question. Your first 2 full seasons in the big leagues, you win 2 Cy Young Awards. So what are you going to do this year? You know what he said? I don't know, hit a home run?
Didn't happen.
So I ask you this year, your first 3 years in the big leagues, you win 2 Cy Youngs and a world championship. What are you going to do this year?
Still go for that home run.
Seriously, you went through August, and you were 0-5. And it was your worst month, maybe not only as a professional, but in your life.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever lost 5 games, not even in my lifetime. I mean, that was terrible. I mean, sorry guys, didn't mean to scare you out there. But yeah, I mean, you just go back and start looking at yourself again, and you start doubting yourself, and then with these great group of guys around me, to pick me up, lift me up, to get me out of my funk. Just says a lot about our camaraderie and our team. Team. Okay, I'm getting all nervous right now.
But you go through that month, and you resurrect yourself out of the ashes, and you get into the month of September. Not only do you come back, find your rhythm, get your mechanics straight, you come back with a new pitch.
Yeah, it was just something I've been kind of working on. I was throwing it with Kane in San Diego in that big series. We had a 4-game series there, and I decided to kind of, just mess around with it, see if it does anything, and it did. So I just kind of stuck with it, and Buster kept putting down the threes, and I just kept throwing them.
What are you going to do next?
Start throwing knuckleballs. I ain't lying. And try to hopefully grow a beard. I'm in the process of it. Or not.
Well, you got a lot of beard coaches around here if you need any help, I'm sure. Or you can cut a little off of Sergio's and maybe...
Little full in it.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Not as big as that one. That one's bad. That's bad. That's bad. I can't really say that. It's pretty rad.
Is this the really the neatest bunch of individuals you've ever been around?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Buster touched on it earlier. You go. I didn't spend a lot of time in the minors and stuff, but I feel like this is the team out of my last 4 years that came together as a unit and pulled it together when we needed to, picked each other up. We're all pulling on the same rope, and that rope was to win. And just getting to where we did with the World Series, I mean, just shows a lot about us and our guys.
I think one of the obvious questions is all you guys were extended all through October, pitching-wise. At any point, did you feel tired?
No, I think that's just kind of where the excitement takes over, and you're just running on pure adrenaline. I mean, you're just going out there wanting to grab the ball, wanting to throw that next pitch, and just step up.
And you took a long nap too, I'm sure, when the season was over.
Yes, I did.
It was amazing. I just never had more fun in my life. Just sitting and listening to other players talk.
We've heard some of their stories about what they went through.
You just hear stuff that you don't normally hear on a daily basis.